serve the city of Sugar Land. We are grateful for the community we call home, a place of growth, diversity, and shared vision. As we gather for this first meeting of the year, we ask for your wisdom to guide our decisions, compassion to understand the needs of those we serve, and courage to act with integrity and fairness. May our deliberations reflect respect for all voices and perspectives, and may the outcomes of this meeting benefit every resident of our city. Bless our city staff and all who contribute to making Sugar Land a place of excellence and innovation. Protect those who serve in our community, from first responders to volunteers, and give them strength and safety in their work. As we embark on a new year, may we continue to build a city that reflects the best of who we are, rooted in service, striving for progress, and committed to the common good. And let us always remember that we are one Sugar Land. We ask this in your name. Amen.
And now we've got special guests from Brazos Bend Elementary, the National Elementary Honor Society. I'm going to ask Ms. Caitlin Garcia, the 5th grade teacher and the sponsor, to join me down front. Principal Dr. Bolden, if you'll join me down front. And then Maddox Richardson, Ryan Barama, and Eris Wilson, if you all would join me down front. And they'll lead us in the pledge to the nation's flag and the pledge to the Texas flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you very much. And now if we could have parents come down, we're going to get a photo. Parents, family.
Where's the state behind them?
Well, you don't want your nice foot.
Go now. We're going to stay. We'll stay behind. Just,
Oh, are we going to be in this too?
yeah, we'll be in the pic. I think they'll have to.
Yes, council, just stand up on the dais. Here, let's move everybody kind of down.
Oh, wait.
Get everybody down. Let it be known that I was never on the Honor Society. So I really appreciate these kids. Before we open to public comment, I'm going to read the following, and this will serve, well, I'm going to go ahead and open to public comment. I'm going to read the following. Citizens who desire to address the City Council with regard to items on the agenda for consideration, action items, will now be given 3 minutes to speak. Please come forward as I call your name if you filled out a form. Please remember that both speakers and members of the audience should be mindful of our governing rules for conducting the business of the City Council. As a reminder, disruptions of public meetings are prohibited, including but not limited to comments unrelated to the agenda item on which a speaker is signed up to speak, failure to comply with the allotted time established for public comment, outbursts from the audience, and holding or placing signs or banners in a way that obstructs pedestrian flow or the view of others attending the meeting. All these won't be tolerated. If an individual fails to comply, the individual will be asked to leave and excluded from future council meetings for a period of 60 calendar days. If a disruption occurs, I will give a second warning. The first warning was the one that I just gave. And at that time, I will state respectfully, as I warned you earlier, our meeting rules and state law prohibit disruption of public meetings, and you are disrupting this meeting, and you'll be asked to step down. If it continues, an officer will escort you out. Please note that per our rules, you are also excluded from in-person attendance at future city council meetings for a period of 60 calendar days. This time, anybody would like to speak about an action item on the agenda? No one signed up to speak, but you're welcome to come forward and address the council. Anybody? We're going to move on now to item number 3, the minutes. 3A, consideration of an action on the minutes of the November 5th, 2024 City Sugar Land Development Corp. Oh, got the wrong one. Got the wrong one. Sorry. Consent agenda, item number 3. All these items are going to be taken as one motion unless the council member wants to pull it. So I'm looking for a motion from item E through M. Do I have a motion? Got a motion by McCutcheon. Do I have a second? Got a second by Kermally. Any further discussion? Vote at this time, please. There we go. And it passes 7-0 unanimously. Thank you, council members. Item number 4, contracts and agreements. 4A, consideration of an action on authorization of a contract with Gage Engineering LLC in the amount of $559,766.86 for design and bid services for the Ganaway Lake Trails Project, CIP CPK 2501. We have with us Jonathan Braun, our assistant city engineer. Jonathan.
Let's adjust this. Good evening, Mayor, Council, City Manager. I'm Jonathan Braun, and I'm going to be talking to you about the Ganaway Lake Trails Project for your consideration to move forward with the design phase. Some background for this project. This trail was a part of the 2023 Mobility Master Plan and was also included in a 2017 Ganaway Lake Park PER, which is preliminary engineering report, in which some of the proposed elements of this trail will be included as they were included in that PER. We're proposing a 1.5-mile trail connecting Ganaway Lake to Cullinan Park. Our public outreach shows that sentiment for trails and connectivity for recreational facilities is favorable, and the public is supportive of this. For funding, we were able to secure a $3.8 million federal grant to fund a large portion of this project. Voters also approved a 2020 Fort Bend County Parks bond in the amount of $800,000 that'll be used for this as well. So no anticipated funding is required from the city on this project. Because it is a federal grant project, TxDOT's going to oversee the project development as well as the project funding reimbursement. So the project design is going to have to follow TxDOT design criteria and specifications. And they also require that the consultants have what's called the Local Government Project Procedure Certification, or LGPP. And we'll talk a little bit more about that later on. Some additional project location and some scope of work here. I've got my little red beam here for you all, so follow along. The trail will start on the northeast corner of Ganaway Lake and will run it parallel to Bernie Road, where there's an existing sidewalk that will be widening. When we do cut in to the city property just south of Ganaway Lake, we're proposing a boardwalk section, and that is because there are wetlands through this area. That'll transition into a 10-foot wide shared use path as we pass the surface water treatment plant, and we will connect to an existing multimodal bridge over Oyster Creek right here. That transitions into the existing trail that's on the north side of Imperial Development here. Following this around to the intersection of State Highway 6 and Crown Garden Trail. We're proposing some safety improvements for the crossing here. We'll turn north. We'll then run parallel to State Highway 6, and we're proposing a new pedestrian bridge and ultimately connecting to the trails in Cullinan Park. In addition to those details, the scope of work for the consultant will include the design and bid phase services, the environmental study following NEPA requirements, which is the National Environmental Policy Act, some drainage and floodplain impact analysis and report, geotechnical investigations, field survey, structural design, signing pavement markings, and signalization. Again, it's going to follow the TxDOT standards and specifications. One thing that as we progress through this, what I showed you on the map, as we see fit to make modifications that make sense, we will do that as the project progresses. Per the grant requirements and city policy, we advertised an RFQ in June of 2024. We received 7 submissions, and 2 of those were invited to interview. Based on our analysis, we decided that Gage Engineering was the most qualified based on their extensive LGPP and trail experience. And although this is their first contract with the city, they are Houston-based in the Energy Corridor, and they have done work for similar cities such as the city of Pearland. And all of their references gave them glowing remarks. Because this is a high-profile project with positive community sentiment, we want to make sure that we're keeping the public informed, and we're planning to do that through HOA meetings and our public notices on our website and social media. We're looking to schedule those around the 30% design. That's about the time when we get the alignment set. And so we can easily make adjustments. And then again, around the 60 to 90% prior to finalizing design and moving to construction. Also, because this is federal, the NEPA process requires us to do a project notice and opportunity to comment. Now, what that is, it's a 15-day comment period, and that's just for adjacent property owners, local government, and public officials prior to the decision on the environmental process. Those will be mailed out. Now, we do have several stakeholders on this project, and it's including TxDOT and HGAC, Fort Bend County Drainage District and Parks, Imperial HOA, Cullinan Park Conservancy, the Texas Historical Commission, and the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. That's really due to the wetlands that we're hoping to not impact. Project funding, we have available grant funds of this in the amount of $3.8 million, as I mentioned. The professional service contract under consideration today is for around $560,000. We are pending that ILA with Fort Bend County of $800,000. We're looking for notice to proceed for the design in January of 2025, and design should be completed by the summer of 2026, shortly by construction in fall of 2026, and the construction should last about a year. With that, I would like to request for approval authorizing execution of a professional services contract in the amount of $559,766.86 with Gage Engineering LLC for design and bid phase services for Ganaway Lake Trails, CIP CPK 2501. I'm happy to answer any questions anybody may have.
Thank you, Jonathan. Any questions for council members? I do. William, go ahead.
I love the idea of having another trail, but I have a question regarding Cullinan Park where this trail is going to connect. There's no bikes allowed there in Cullinan Park. I'm assuming there will be plenty of signage because I can tell you a 1.5 mile ad, we're going to have bicycles coming through there, and I don't want that to be a problem.
Sure.
And also, I noticed in your presentation, do we have an expectation of what it'll look like, what the surface will be, or is that just for a later date?
We haven't finalized the design of the surface yet, other than we know that a portion of it's going to be the boardwalk. We still haven't even figured out how we're going to support that boardwalk, helical piles, things, we have different options.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to get you ahead of yourself, sorry.
But I did discuss with our parks group about the no bikes in Cullinan Park, and that's something we'll need to work out with them to have some place to store bikes once they do reach the park, if that is a solution.
Very exciting, thank you.
All right.
Suzanne?
Thank you. Jonathan, I want to thank staff for working with HGAC to procure the funding. That's a huge thing to have happen. I know you guys worked hard on that. My question goes back to the bond for 2017. Did we have bond funds put aside for Galloway Lakes already?
No, we don't have any other funds other than what was shown there.
Okay, because I was going to ask about reallocation of funds that were set aside for that ahead of time. So with that in mind, what is the timeline that we're looking for as far as having everybody aligned? I mean, we have like a lot of stakeholders in this. Is everybody on time already? Are they all working together to put this in the same time frame?
So we did meet with Fort Bend County Parks Group around early December, late November. And so we're working out that ILA as we speak. The holidays, I guess it kind of slowed it down, but I'm following up with them on that. As far as the grant goes, everything has been secured for that. We've signed all of our agreements with TxDOT. We've got our AFA. Everything is in place. Once we get this going, there's no reason why we can't start design.
Okay, good, because I know once we start, there's a ticking time that starts, so we need to make sure everybody's
That's correct,
in on that.
yes.
Okay.
And we are still on schedule,
Okay.
despite anything that we're still pending with Fort Bend County.
Thank you, good work. I make a motion to approve, please.
Got a motion to approve by Watley, second by McCutcheon. Before we vote, I want to make a comment. This project was started years ago by Councilmember Steve Porter in District 1. And Councilmember Porter no longer lives in Sugar Land. He's had some health issues, but I want to make sure that we give him credit because long ago, he came when I first became mayor and said, hey, I think this is a worthy project. Let's put this thing on the board and let's see if we can get funding. Staff, you guys have done a phenomenal job getting that done. So we got a motion second. Why don't we go ahead and vote? And it passes 7-0 unanimous. Thank you,
y'all.
Jonathan. Item number 5, public hearings. 5A, public hearing. Receive and hear all persons desiring to be heard on the proposed annexation of 45.11 acres of land generally bounded by Rabs Bayou to the north, FM 2759 to the south, Toll Road, Booth Road east, and Greatwood Lake Section 1 west into the corporate limits of the city of Sugar Land. This time I'm going to have Jessica Eccles, our interim senior planner. Jessica, can you introduce the item for us?
Yes, good evening. So this item is the public hearing and first consideration on an annexation of a city-owned property that's approximately 45 acres in the city's ETJ. A little background on this annexation request. This property was purchased by the city in December of 2023 for the construction of a new regional water treatment plant and a new regional wastewater treatment plant. This property is located just south of Greatwood, south of Rabs Bayou as well, east of the Greatwood Lake subdivision, and north of FM 2759. As you can see on this vicinity map on this slide, it's located in the city's ETJ, and the access will be provided from FN 2759. In addition to the annexation, the property will also be temporarily zoned to R1I, or interim standard single-family residential zoning. And once annexed, it'll be in part of Council District Number 4. This annexation is consistent with the goals and policies of the land use plan, specifically Goal 8, which is for balanced growth. To provide a little bit of overview for annexation, a city may only annex area that's in the city's ETJ, and because Sugar Land is a home rule city, annexation must be adjacent to the city, and public hearing is required at city council for the annexation, and the state statute requires that a public hearing notice be placed between 10 to 20 days before the public hearing, so in the newspaper and on the city's website. On this slide, you'll see a copy of the public notice. It was published in the Fort Bend Independent, and it was also published on the city's website. And at this time, we have not received any inquiries, and staff is not aware of any opposition to this annexation. And with that, staff recommends approval of ordinance number 2363. And staff is also available to answer any questions after the public hearing.
Thank you, Jessica. We're going to hold the questions till after the public hearing. This time I'm going to open the public hearing and ask anybody that would like to speak on this particular agenda item to approach the podium. Seeing none, we're going to go ahead and close the public hearing. We're going to move on to item 5A, first consideration of an action on City of Sugar Land ordinance number 2363, an ordinance of the City Council, City of Sugar Land, Texas, annexing 45.11 acres of city-owned land located near FM 2759 is more particularly described herein, temporarily zoning the property as R1I district, interim standard single-family residential, and placing the annexed land into City Council District Number 4. Carol, you're growing. Okay, Carol, McCutcheon said, Carol, you want to hurry up and get on in there so you can represent those coyotes that are out there. Jennifer, go ahead. Question?
Hi, on the map, can you show me where Velasquez Elementary is located? Is it on that map?
I don't think it's on this map.
Okay. I was just curious if we were going to notify, whenever we start construction on the wastewater treatment plant, all of that, that we notify the school district, let them know.
Yeah, it's currently in the design process right now.
Okay.
William?
So, and I apologize for being redundant here, but I have a very similar question because when this goes out at the end of this meeting, there's going to be a lot of social media conversation, not understanding the map. Looking at your diagram, I see Deerbrook, so I am using my phone because I don't have a better map. I see Deerbrook, and I'm curious. It looks like this property is going to edge up to the bayou behind Greatwood. And I think, okay, so it's right behind, correct me if I'm wrong, Greatwood Lake. Community, Greatwood Lake?
It is to the east.
Okay, well, that's fine. It's to the east. Do we currently know a public use for this property? Is this part of moving the wastewater from where it currently exists in Greatwood to this 45 acres? Is that the intention, or do we know?
Katie
And
Clayton.
I'm sorry to catch you off
No,
guard, but
Katie
people are
Clayton
going to ask me that
I
question.
think Katie Clayton can answer that question. Katie?
Please.
Good evening. Yes, sir. So ultimately, we will be constructing a regional wastewater plant on this site, on the north side of the site, the larger chunk, and then a regional water plant on the south side. The water plant will be connected to our Greatwood water system, as well as serving the Rye Hill development. The wastewater system will also ultimately be a regional facility, and the long-term plan is to take the Greatwood wastewater plant offline and to redirect all of the flows to this new facility.
Great answer, by the way. So as I look at the satellite picture, I see our existing wastewater is maybe, I don't know, not even a quarter mile away. It's 5 acres-ish, it's small. We're going to 45 acres to handle all of these additional services. Do you have any idea what the expected impact will be for the homes there? Because if I may use a description, sometimes it doesn't smell real good at the existing wastewater. Have you guys considered all that?
Yes, we have. Certainly, we are in design, and that has been part of the conversation of where we locate specific equipment on the site, as well as odor control for each of the components of the wastewater plant, ensuring that we are minimizing odors as much as we can.
And just to clarify, we all love wastewater plants. Otherwise, it would be really bad.
Yes.
I just wanted, I know the social media is going to blow up about this once it gets out. So I think that's all the clarity we need right now.
Katie, I think the technology's a little bit different from when that original
Yes.
Wraithwood plant was built decades ago to what we're probably designing right now.
Yes, sir.
Any, oh, got it. There we go. Got a motion by McCutcheon, second by Kamala. Any other questions? Vote this time, please. Yeah, thank you, council members. Passed 7-0. Item number 6, City Council City Manager reports. Let's go to this 6A. City Council member Suzanne, let's go to you first.
Thank you. I kind of feeling you were going to do that, but I really don't have a report. I want to thank staff because while we were all away, at least while I was away at Christmas, I know they handled everything and took care of things, even my late night emails to make sure everyone was online. So thank you, staff, for being here while we were away.
Jennifer.
Ditto. Thank you, staff, for working through the holidays so that we and all the other residents could enjoy them safely.
William.
Happy New Year. And I also want to do a shout out to We the People for electing and re-electing some great representatives in Sugar Land, in Precinct 3 Commissioner Andy Myers and Precinct 3 Constable Ali Shikani. I'm excited to work with them on behalf of our city.
Thank you, William. Stewart.
Thank you, Mayor. The most important thing I did was I got to spend time with my grandchildren, and you can look this up. They actually are the smartest and best-looking grandchildren that anybody ever had.
Carol.
I attended the grand opening of Engineering for Kids, and it's a great program to inspire kids to pursue careers in science, technology, engineering, and math. And I even heard them talking about endothermic reactions for engineers in the group. And I attended the holiday lights at Constellation.
Nishad.
No report, but just Happy New Year, everyone. Thank you.
Yeah, and I'll echo what Ferguson and Nishad said. Happy New Year to everybody. I'm glad everybody had a safe and happy, wonderful Christmas Day. At this time, item number 7, which is closed executive session, is going to be postponed till a later date. There we go, Carol. We are adjourned at 5:57. We didn't. We did everything. I went A through M. I did A. So what I did was